You don't hear the explosion the way people describe it. It's not a single sound. It's pressure first, a violent compression that hits your chest and teeth at the same time. Then the noise follows. Metal tearing, glass atomizing, a low, dragging roar that lingers too long. The lead vehicle is gone. Not disabled, not stopped, gone. Replaced by a column of dust and fragments still falling. The convoy halts in instinctive disorder. Engines idle high. Someone is shouting over the comms, but the signal breaks apart. You scan sectors. Left ridge, right ditch, rear vehicle intact. No immediate follow-up fire. That's wrong. There is always follow-up fire. You wait for it, fingers steady, breathing controlled. Nothing comes, just the smell. Burned rubber, hot oil, something metallic and wet. You don't move until the order comes. Two words: push forward. You didn't start here. 5 years earlier, you signed a contract in a windowless office with a desk bolted to the floor. The air conditioning was set to 18 degrees Celsius, cold enough to keep you alert. You had already served 8 years in uniform. Structured deployments, clear rules, defined enemies. You left because the pay stopped matching the risk. They offered triple. Rotations of 90 days on, 30 off, no recognition, no record, just transfers. The recruiter didn't sell purpose, he sold efficiency. He told you they would remove the unnecessary parts. You signed without reading the full addendum. You told yourself autonomy meant control. Your first week in country, you are issued equipment already worn by someone else. Scratches on the optics, sand embedded in the grips. Nothing new, nothing yours. You are not given a rank, only a role. Driver, rear security, names are optional. Call signs rotate every 30 days to prevent familiarity. The compound runs on a rigid schedule. Wake at 5:30, briefing at 6, departure at 6:40. Fuel is tracked to the decimal. Meals are calculated, not enjoyed. 3,200 calories a day. 6 liters of water in heat that reaches 47 degrees Celsius. The machines hum at night, generators cycling in low mechanical pulses. You stop noticing it after a month. When it goes quiet, that's when you wake up. After 9 months, you move to the second vehicle. More responsibility, more observation. You maintain spacing. 40 meters in urban zones, 80 in open terrain. You learn to read the road. Fresh dirt means recent digging. Parked cars with uneven suspension suggest added weight. Windows that reflect too little are covered from inside. Civilians stop being individuals. They become categories: distance, movement, hands visible or not. At 18 months, you are trusted with route planning. The system calculates risk, but you override it when instinct says something is wrong. That is your first compromise. You choose unpredictability over safety and justify it as strategy. You don't log the deviation. By year 3, you supervise a team of 6. Your pay increases by 22%. Your liability increases without being stated. You approve movement requests. You deny others. Each decision is recorded in reports written in precise language. You learn the unspoken rules. Never be the last to know. Never contradict a client in writing. Never record uncertainty. Replace it with probability, high likelihood. Low confidence, language becomes insulation. You practice creative compliance. Contracts say no engagement unless threatened. Threat is undefined, so you define it. A sudden movement, a concealed hand, a vehicle too close. Each action justified later in clean, structured sentences. You stop calling home regularly around year 4. At first it's scheduling, then it becomes something else. You realize you have nothing you can explain. Conversations shorten, then they space out, then they stop. Your partner notices before you do. The distance isn't loud, it's gradual. Messages unanswered, calls missed. You tell yourself it's temporary. You extend your contract again. Sleep changes, You wake at 2:13 without reason. You check exits, count shadows, listen for patterns. You sit with your back to walls. You scan entrances without thinking. This becomes your baseline. Isolation isn't forced. You choose it. The incident happens in your sixth year. Extraction route, late afternoon. Visibility reduced by dust and heat distortion. Then the road fills with civilians. Dozens, maybe more. Moving unpredictably. Some waving, some running alongside, some stepping directly into your path. Your driver slows, comms erupt, maintain speed. Possible screen. Watch for secondaries. You scan faces, hands, clothing. No clear threat. That means nothing. Distance closes. 40 meters, 30, 20 seconds left. If you slow, you compress the convoy and invite an attack. If you maintain speed, you accept impact. You make the call. Hold speed. Your voice is steady. The vehicle does not stop. You feel the impacts through the frame more than you see them. Then nothing. No gunfire, no explosion, just movement continuing. The report is filed within 2 hours. Civilian interference during extraction. Potential hostile masking behavior observed. Decision made to maintain convoy integrity under elevated threat conditions. No confirmed numbers. Not your responsibility. The client acknowledges. No questions. Your superiors mark it within operational parameters. You are not punished. You are not praised. The system absorbs it. The realization comes later. You are reviewing footage from another team. Different day, same situation, same decision, same language, same outcome. You understand then that it wasn't your judgment, it was conditioning. The system produces decisions, not individuals. The autonomy you believed in was structured long before you arrived. Your final contract ends in year 8. No ceremony, no closure. You return your equipment piece by piece. Serial numbers checked. Where recorded. Payment arrives within 72 hours. You leave with a single bag. At the airport, no one knows where you've been. The temperature is steady, controlled, comfortable. It feels wrong. Back home, silence returns. Real silence. No generators, no briefings, no schedules. You try to sleep without the hum. It takes time. You avoid driving. Traffic feels unpredictable. You scan crowds, count exits, measure distance. The calculations continue. Who is a risk? Who isn't? What matters? What doesn't? You don't stop. Months pass. The system replaces you immediately. Another operator fills your role. Same routes, same protocols, same decisions waiting to be made. Nothing changes. You check updates out of habit. Reports come in. Same language, same outcomes. You sit in a quiet room, far from heat, far from dust, far from the hum. Your hands are still. Your environment is stable. But the framework remains. Every situation reduced to variables. Risk, outcome, cost. You understand now that you didn't just work inside the system. You became compatible with it. And even outside it, the calculations continue. Unchanged, waiting for a decision that no longer exists. You start noticing the numbers more than the people. Contracts valued at 12 million, 18 million, sometimes 30. None of it reaches you beyond your fixed percentage. You calculate risk against payout without thinking. A 90-day rotation earns you more than a year back home, but the margin tightens when you factor in probability. Injury rates, incident reports, names replaced every quarter. You read summaries where individuals are reduced to roles. Operator lost. Driver compromised. No follow-up, no narrative, just replacement timelines measured in days, not weeks. You understand then that the system doesn't account for experience as something to preserve, only something to replicate until it fails. There are briefings where the temperature is kept at 19 degrees Celsius and the lights are slightly too bright. You sit in rows, back straight, eyes forward, absorbing updates that change nothing. routes adjusted by 5%, threat levels raised by one category. New clauses added to contracts that shift liability in language so dense it becomes invisible. You sign anyway. Everyone does. You learn to read between lines that aren't written. Delays mean risk. Silence means approval. A lack of instruction becomes its own directive. The system doesn't tell you what to do. It shapes what you will choose under pressure and lets you believe it was your decision. After you leave, you try to assign weight to what you've done. You compare outcomes the way you were trained: necessary versus avoidable, risk versus result. The numbers never settle. They loop, recalculating without conclusion. You realize there was never a final equation, no definitive balance, just ongoing adjustment. The system never needed closure, only continuation. And now, outside it, you continue the process alone. Not because you have to, but because you no longer know how to stop.